One of the things that is going to be happening, and a lot of people have already been talking about it, although we haven't really seen it visually yet, is just outside the walls of City Hall, which is called the Keystone Project, and then the daylighting of Town Creek, which
Right.
we are starting to see some demolition. But I bet there's still plenty of people that would say, what's happening, what's going on
Sure.
out there. So kind of give us a brief overview of what we're going to see in the next couple of years.
The Town Creek project really goes back almost 10 or 12 years now. Back in the 1950s, it was thought that it's better to pipe everything underground, to have galvanized steel and concrete. And, as times have progressed, we've learned that it's better to be able to have those creeks and free flowing. So what you're going to see on Broad Street, the old Town Creek will be opened back up, and it's going to be creating more of a parks and recreation feel. There's benches and pavilions and sitting points and walking trails, all that will tie in that area. And as you're seeing the old Shoney's that's getting torn down, the Subway, the Copy Mate, all of those things that the city acquired, those are being torn down. I might add, there's been a lot of discussion on traffic, but you're now not going to see that you can't turn off Broad Street anymore. So that's going to flow up traffic along Broad heading to South Church. But across the street, we really got into wanting to talk about renovating the fire administration building, renovating water and sewer. And we quickly found out that the cost for those buildings to renovate came back more than what the buildings were actually worth. So this whole discussion started about what's next there, and that's where the Keystone Project came aboard. So it's a mixed-use project with some downtown living, with retail, with office space, with lots of different things, a boutique hotel. Across the street on South Church Street, WGNS is going to get a new building there. So there's all kinds of cool things that are happening to really, transform that area. And Mike, I will add, the more you study and you really start looking at these things, it's important that we keep a vibrant downtown.
HRP Residential, which is a Brentwood-based developer, is investing a substantial amount of money to take on this project. I think it's around $175 million, 3 parking garages, and as you described, all the mixed-use development, right, a hotel and everything. What was the thing that turned that a company would come in and say, yeah, we're willing to invest that much money into the project?
Well, I think with any project, the developer that comes in has to see the potential and to have a profitable project. But I think once you really started investing, you start seeing that we have zero downtown living. There's literally in the downtown proper, there's nothing. And that's one of the things that Murfreesboro continually deals with, is having affordable housing. So I think, trying to create an atmosphere. I'm in Knoxville quite a bit now, counterparts that are in Chattanooga that we go see, and those cities have been able to invest in their downtown, and it's the place to go. And I think that's something that's important. And Mike, when you look at this, I always get frustrated when people say that, we want to attract a national headquarters. Well, we have national headquarters here. There's a lot of small businesses who were formed in the city of Murfreesboro. For example, the Alley downtown, that's a family business that started over 10 years ago. There's small businesses downtown that by giving ability for people to live downtown, that people will frequent those businesses more than they do already. And so I think that's some of the things that the group saw, the genesis in what's happening in our downtown area.
When you talk about downtown, the merchants, during some of the hearings for this project, there was pretty strong support on the part of the downtown businesses for it.
Oh yeah, I think any downtown business really saw the benefit of having more people come downtown. And don't get me wrong, parking was a big issue that we talked about. 3 parking spaces. We have the city garage that we're already working on, looking at the infrastructure improvements that are in the area that are coming along with this. For years, we've tried to say, we wanted a downtown boutique hotel. There's no hotel downtown. And, I think the negative that's happened, I think it's important as an elected official when we do things right that we say these things are happening correctly. But, the One East College project that we went through back almost 6 years ago, that if I could go back, I would have never voted on the developer that took that project over, and it hasn't started. So I think it's important that we've learned from the lesson of that project to be able to have a successful project here, and I think it will be successful.
Are you comfortable with the mix of condos and apartments? That's been an issue that's been discussed, and then it has to be sustainable for the company itself.
You know, I think it's community-wide that we've heard that no one really wants apartments. And really, over the last 4 or 5 years, you've not seen any apartments built outside of the Gateway. You know, that Gateway area where we've tried to encourage walkability, pedestrian access for those types of uses. But, you know, downtown is a little different. Not having any housing stock downtown besides downtown real estate that's off of the square, and, you know, good luck buying downtown real estate. It's some of the most sought after and expensive property in Murfreesboro now. So I think there's always a way to have a good mix. We were able to get the developer to agree to our Hometown Hero program, where there's a certain percentage of the units on the condos that if you're an emergency service provider, so a police officer, firefighter, a paramedic, a teacher, you're able to get a discount on those units as long as you stay in those units. So I think there's a lot of good things that are going to come.
And the goal, or the thing that you hope for, is that by bringing more people downtown, that's going to then again spur even more development, more activity, better business in the downtown area.
Yeah, I mean, you know, Mike, I think it's proven that activity breeds activity. And we've seen the challenges across the street in the Cannonsburg area where, you know, originally that was one of the most used greenways trailheads that we had in the city, and it's gone to one of the least used just for various reasons. But activity, you know, when we did the Bottoms plan back in 2016, we've not been able to really attract anyone to go over in that area and invest in the Bottoms area because there's just not been activity. You know, no one wanted to go over and build a restaurant because no one else is improving the area. So, I mean, I think with Town Creek, with the Broad Street development, what I'm really hoping is that it'll be a generational transition, that you can see that downtown area, even across this Broad Street from where the City Hall is now, that you're going to see people invest in that area. And that just hasn't happened over the last, since I've been here.
I think the Bottom study indicated that there was some desire or thinking that maybe it could develop into an arts district. Is that kind of the thinking here?
Well, I think that whole area, you know, having the access where people want to go down there, where there's reasons to go down there. And right now, you know, you have very little that's down there. I mean, there's no retail, very few. I don't think there's any retail. Everything closes at 5 o'clock. You know, Hooper Supply has been a mainstay there. But the traffic that's down there after hours, you know, I think it's going to be important to get that activity and to get some life in the area. So yes, I think you're going to see with Town Creek, I think you're going to see an arts element that will really push through. And, you know, like in Chattanooga, I mean, people want to go to the downtown area to walk on the waterfront, to be able to walk on the riverfront. I think there's going to be an element of that will get people to come to the area.